All right, thank you, Ross. All right, good to see everybody. Short and sweet. Biggest thing, just really, I know we've seen y'all last couple of weeks or whatever, but not much has changed. Main thing is just the injuries. You guys are going to get to come out there for a few periods today to get a chance to take some pictures and put your eyes on them. Long-term guys, Heaven Brown Schuler that's the first thing I want to touch on. It is such a blessing. He's doing amazing. He's doing amazing. The treatment's working, and just so thankful for, you know, just the modern medicine and technology and all the research that's been done, and just how smart, you know, these doctors are. His body is really responding well, and so just really happy for him. You're gonna see him. He's been here really every day. He's part of cleaning up, doing everything he needs to do. So that's the first thing I would say. Just really, you know, heading in a good spot. He's got a long way to go, but so far his body is really responding well. So that's encouraging. Then we got two other long-term guys. They're you know, are good chance they'll be out for the season. One is Adam Guthrie, who just got here. He had an injury in high school he's been dealing with, and then had a meniscus that he torn in workout. So we went ahead and fixed that. We've already done that, and then we're going to go ahead and kind of fix the other issue he's been dealing with, because he was going to be out for a significant amount of time anyway. So you know, he just got here, so we're gonna take care of him and just really. He'll work his way back as the season goes, but don't anticipate him being able to play this season. But still a big year for him. Going to be a really good player, and a lot of work ahead for him. You know, obviously got to get back physically, but you know, strength conditioning, mentally, you know, learning what to do. The system, you're going to learn a lot from watching the guys this fall. So he's a long-term guy. And then Peyton Strecco, who's a depth running back for us. You know, he's coming off of surgery as well, so he's probably in that long-term category. Everybody else, you know, you might see a few guys in green, you know, out there. You'll probably see, I think Denson's in yellow today, but he's actually progressing really good too. So everybody else is, you know, in a good spot as far as where they're progressing to get back at some point. But other than that, you know, we're in great shape. I think our strength conditioning staff did a fantastic job this summer, you know, getting these guys to this point where they're ready to go practice football. Now we got to take it from there. Got a lot of work to do, playing 30 days. So, you know, just this is always a great day because, you know, we've been going since Tuesday, but you know, it's a lot of meetings, a lot of you know, program installation, a lot of things that we've got to get covered from a university standpoint, et cetera. To get to this point. So this is where the fun begins. We actually get a chance to get back out on the field. You know, again, these guys have been working since January. It doesn't just start today. They've been working since January. This is just the next step in this journey, kind of the third quarter of this 2026 year, if you will, as we get it back on the practice field, and now we get ready to go play some games. So excited to see the team, and you know, the big thing I'm looking for is, you know, all those guys that went through spring, as we challenge them to, you know, wherever they are in their development phase, to come back the best version of themselves that we've seen to this point. You know, regardless of who it was. Maybe it's a guy that just got here in January. We don't expect to see the finished version of him today or through camp, but I want to see the best version of him since he's been at Clemson. And or you're a Will Helt, who's, you know, in his last, you know, months here at Clemson. I want him to be the best he's ever been here. And they all had specific things that we needed them to do to take that next step. So that's the big thing we're looking for. And again, just getting going, man. I'm proud of the staff. I've been really pleased with our staff and just, you know, how it's all come together. And you know, these guys have really bought in to how we do things here at Clemson. And I'm just really proud of them. Look forward to getting on the field and again, just doing the work. Got a long way to go, and you know, we've got 30 days to get ready to play, and that next step starts today as far as the practice goes. Any questions?
Yesterday, the weigh-in, did anybody surprise you in a good way, or
Yeah, there were a
no
lot of
particular
them.
way that you went, okay, wow, they put in work.
Yeah, there were a lot of them. I mean, a lot of them, but no, I'm not gonna highlight any of them because we ain't gonna win. We ain't gonna win no games standing on a weight scale. But we look good. We're a good-looking football team. We look good on paper. We look good in the weight room. Hopefully, we're gonna look good on the practice field today. But yeah, I mean, that's just kind of part of it for us. I think, like I said, the guys have done a good job. I mean, there's several guys you can highlight along the way. The one guy I will call out, and there's a bunch, but one, because he's such a good example to, if you buy in, you do the work, and he's a product of our development here, and that's Jaheim Lawson. Maybe 208 when he got here, not a very highly recruited guy. And you know, we've been successful around here because we've evaluated well, and then we've developed well. Not that we're perfect, but we've put a lot of guys in the pros that have come through this program. And so we've evaluated well, we've developed well, and we've retained well. But he's a perfect example of a guy that came in and had self-awareness too of, you know, because it takes that too. Like, you know, sometimes you get a guy and he thinks he's ready and he's just not. But Jaheim knew when he came here that, and I got to get bigger, I got to get stronger. You're just going to be a situational guy only until you change that. And you know, he redshirted, didn't play much as a redshirt freshman, redshirt sophomore year, started to kind of see some life. Last year took a big leap, and now he's 251 pounds, and he is a friggin' brick house. And will get drafted next year. So I mean, that's development. And it's just a reflect. If you buy in and you do the work, it's going to work for you. And he's and again, there's a bunch of guys that I could highlight that are different phases, but he's one guy because that's the epitome of what this program's all about. And I just think he did a great job. He's you know, hopefully he stays healthy. He'll go have a great year because he's prepared.
Coach, you mentioned Denson's in yellow today. You've always been real hands-on with your receivers. How excited are you at coaching him up at the position?
Yeah, it's a position that I mean, every head coach was something, and every head coach kind of gravitates toward things, you know, whether it's meetings or the practice field, things like that. And we got some great coaches over there. I kind of try to let them do their thing, but it's still one of those things that, you know, I just see things from a certain lens. And so I haven't really had a chance to see him in that light yet. So we'll see. I mean, obviously we know he can run and he can change direction, and that's easy to evaluate, but I have not had a chance to really evaluate him as a wideout yet. And I don't even know if that's the best position for him. I can't really say that until I go through the process with him, but he's done a great job. I mean, he looks great, physically looks great. So, you know, excited. He's one of those guys that, you know, we got to figure out what's the best spot for him, and then we'll go from there.
Coach, you highlight the word development. Can you talk a little about the tight end position this year and three guys that you've had within your program in Brooking, Benker, and OPH, and the development you're expecting to see from them?
Yeah, and I would throw Charlie Johnson. There's a name none of y'all know. Y'all are looking up, who the heck's Charlie Johnson? There's Swinney again, talking about a guy we don't know. I would throw Charlie Johnson in there. That's Ellis Johnson's son. But man, this was a kid that was a wideout that we like, you know what? Kind of like Brandon Ford back in the day. We're like big-bodied receiver that we're like, he probably needs to move into tight end, and if he can toughen up a little bit. And man, that kid's, I don't know, he's 235 pounds. He's got a chance. I mean, so it's going to start with those three because those guys are high-profile guys, and they're really. But man, I throw Charlie in there. I think Charlie's a good player, and we got Tavion here finally. I feel like I've been recruiting Tavion for 5 years. He might have been our first commit, or he was one of them in that class, and he's finally here. And this kid he's a kid I can't wait to see develop. Whatever he's done in his life, he's been great at it. He's been the best basketball player, best football player, best baseball player, best track guy. I mean, he's done it all. The guy's an amazing student, and he's finally here. So obviously I haven't been on the field with him, but that's a room we love. It's a room we love. He's a guy that, you know, it's a tough position, got a lot to learn. We'll see where he's at. But those other four, and they're ready to go compete. And it's a room that we're going to need. But getting OPH back is big. You know, he's a physical blocker. He's another guy. as you said, development. I mean, just, you know, you notice him at the point of attack. He's a good route runner. Bentoncourt is kind of, you know, there ain't really much he can't do. And we expect him to take another big step this year. He had some really good moments for us last year. And then I wish this rule would have been in place last year, because if it had, Logan Brooking would have played a lot last year. But it was a situation where you're like, well, you know, we got these guys right here, and you don't want to kind of, you know, waste a year, if you will. But if this would have been, he would have played a lot, and we had a 5-year rule. But Logan can run, and he's strong, he's physical. Mentally, he's in a much better spot than he was certainly at this time last year. So, you know, those guys have got to come through for us. And then again, I don't want to leave Charlie out, because I think Charlie has put himself in a position where he can have a football team.
I know that we just talked about the tight ends, but when we were here at the media outing, it was discussed that a lot of the positions had a lot of competition still working out. Any other positions that, or players that have kind of cemented themselves in a starting position just yet, or who's looking good on the development standpoint?
Yeah, I don't have any starters. I'm just going to tell you, there ain't nobody starter. Hey, you know, somebody's going to run out there today because you got to go practice. But you know, we're going to evaluate them every day. If you run out there first tomorrow, then that's because you earned it today, not because we just think you're supposed to be the best one. That's where we're at, and that's the type of competition that we have. Really, I think at every position, and we got a lot of competition. So I don't really have a depth chart. Don't really have any starters to give you. I really don't.
Your player reps with Charlotte really gave glowing reviews of Berberia and what he's done so far in summer workouts. Just what's your excitement level to finally see him out here on the practice field?
I can't wait. I really can't. He's another one of them guys, because I think I know what I'm gonna see, but I just hadn't seen it yet. And I just like who he is and how he handles himself. I mean, everything and it's just, you know, you just kind of know when guys get in their system and they get plugged in, and just kind of see how they're wired, about how they buy in into things, and then what you hear from the players. Game knows game. So he's done a great job so far, and but I'm really excited to see him get in there in that nose guard position. Let's see how he can fill the A gap and take on Harris and Elijah and all those guys. And, you know, he's a guy coming in here, got a lot to prove. You know, I'm excited to see him go do it.
What is it about Tate Reynolds' skill set that you like, and why do you think he can seriously push the Zine at that position, despite the experience difference between the two?
I mean, I don't know what you wouldn't like. I mean, like, name anything that you like about a quarterback. I mean, I guess he's not 6'4", he's 6'2" or so. I mean, there's really not anything to not like. He's a great young prospect. That's why we signed him. You know, we don't like to sign players, especially at that position, that we don't think can be really good. And I'd say the same thing. I'm excited to see Brock Bradley. You know, I mean, I really am, because Brock's a baller. We don't even talk about him, but he's a guy that came here in January. He was, I don't want to say overwhelmed, but he was, you know, he was the duck on the pond. But, you know, his legs were flying underwater, and this kid's a baller, man. And physically, I felt like he was a little bit behind. He's got really good arm talent. I'm excited to see him because how he's worked. So I wouldn't count him out. I really would. He's a really good player. He's one of the best guys in the state of Alabama, and played at a high level. And like I said, he's got a lot of moxie. He's got something to it. But now he's really improved himself physically. He probably gained 10 or 12 pounds. And he's strong. And now he's just, you know, slowed it down. That's their job, you know, to slow it down. And I think he's done the work to do that. So he's not as big as Tate, but as far as Tate, I mean, there's really not anything to not like. He's big, he's strong, I mean, he's really fast, he's explosive, he's got elite arm talent. He's a great kid, great leader. I mean, he's got all those things, but he's got to put it all together and go be a great quarterback. So we're really glad he's here. And I'd say the same thing about CV. there's really not anything I don't like about him. I mean, he's bigger. He's almost 6'4", I guess. He's obviously got the most experience. That certainly serves him well. But got to go practice. See how it all plays out.
In regards to the competition and the quarterback room, what has been your message to that room about going out there and competing in fall camp?
Yeah, just focus on what you control. Just compete every rep. Every rep's getting evaluated. Don't get too high, don't get too low. And sometimes bad things happen because the left tackle whiffed, or somebody ran the wrong route, or whatever. We're evaluating. It's not just quarterback; it's everything. We are evaluating every player based on what they put on tape. Do they demonstrate that they have the knowledge and the understanding to do what we need them to do? So just go compete. Focus on what you control. But you're evaluating everything. You're evaluating, their response, their body language. You name it. Obviously, there's a lot of tangibles and intangibles at that position. But those guys are great, man. They're great friends. They support each other. They all understand, and it's not like they don't know the position they signed up for. So go play.
Will you do anything structurally different in practice with a more true quarterback competition on your hands this year than in past years?
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, again, that's going to be dictated by the players. But I think the biggest thing structurally that's different going into fall camp is than where we were in the spring is we had to kind of figure out who was going to be two, and Tate separated. And so we came out of spring with those two. So we'll kind of now that we can start with where we finished off, and there was it was really fun. I felt like Tate getting all those 2 reps made a good jump. So we really weren't there. So now and we mix them up in camp all the time anyway. We mix and match. We don't always go 1s-on-1s. We'll go 1-on-2s, 2s-on-1s. We'll give some guys reps here, some guys reps here. We do that at lots of positions because we're trying to evaluate all those guys. Because I mean, if Darian Mayo wants to be a 1, well, he's got to be able to beat Braden Jacobs, right? He's got to be able to. The other team doesn't call timeout and take their best left tackle out because you put your backup D in, right? So, we have to expose people in practice, and that's part of the evaluation process that we go through. We do that all the time. But I'd say the biggest thing structurally is we kind of know going in who our 2 are, and then we'll go from there.
How about the structure, emphasis on the running game? Is there more of that built into the structure of camp?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, it's just kind of built in. I mean, our structure of practice isn't any different as far as how we go about it, but what you call and what you're emphasizing within the structure, that's certainly an area we got to get better.
What do you hope to see out of guys like Kobe McLeod, Jeremiah Alexander these next couple weeks?
Yeah, I mean, I think people think if Sammy Brown ain't out there, we're not going to be very good. So I hope that they'll show that we're going to be okay. Whether Sammy's on the field or he's not on the field, that we got more than just one player. And not just Kobe and not just Jeremiah. It's Cooper Taylor, Fletch, Woodass. Yeah, I know y'all done forgot about Logan Anderson. I mean, he's just like forgot about around here. But I'd put him in that Jaheim Lawson category. This kid is coming. We got Braden Riley just got here. I'm excited to see him on the field. It's a better room than people think, and they got to go prove it. But I think that's the biggest thing is that they got to prove that we got more than just one good player there.
How things went last year in the secondary? How excited are you with the potential, the new guys you brought in, and how they'll mesh together?
Yeah, well, that's why we went signing them. We felt like we obviously got to get better in pass defense. Last year is behind us, and that was an area we needed to emphasize. It was like a running game, so we tried to do some things to make sure we're going to be better there. And we've got some changes within our staff structurally and what we're doing there, but also the personnel. And we've been pleased with those guys. What we saw in the spring with Corey coming in here, Jerome coming in here, those guys, and then obviously we signed some young talent. Kennan, looks great. He was a guy that was here last year. We think he's improving. Noah Dixon, obviously we brought Polo in here. He got opportunity this spring. So we've got I think a lot of competition there. Ronan, man, he looks amazing. He's a more confident, more experienced player. He's more comfortable, and I think he was third on the team in tackles last year, and he only started like 5 games. So that just shows he's a very active, productive guy, when he plays. So now we've got really good competition there, and I expect this to be better.
Last year this was Cade's team. What are some of the things you hope to see from CV that will tell you that he's the new leader of this team? Did you see those in the spring?
Absolutely. I mean, and not just Cade. I mean, not just CV. Those other guys. I mean, we've got a lot of really good leadership. I think we got a lot of good example leaders on this team. But CV, the guys respect CV. They respect him because he's done the work. I mean, like if he'd gone to the portal, he'd been the greatest thing ever in the portal. And whoever got him, they'd be writing all these great articles about this great quarterback that we got from Clemson. But because he stayed, he gets downplayed. That's just the nature of this world we're living in right now. It just is. So he's respected. But he also has a lot to prove, right? He's got to go do it. You can't give it to him. Nobody can. You got to earn it. And again, players know, they know it. The game knows game. And I think we've got, a really good room. I think, shoot, every quarterback I've had that's signed here, that's become the starter or stayed here, every one of them's won a championship. Every single one of them. I hadn't had one yet that hadn't. So I think these guys in this room, I'm not saying they're going to win a championship this year, but I think these guys in this room will get it done at some point. So we'll see what happens. But as far as CV, man, he's just taking ownership of everything. He's going above and beyond. He's in great shape. He's incredibly knowledgeable. He's done everything he needs to do to position himself to win the job. And again, he's got the pole position. But he's still got to finish the race. Right? He's got to go finish the race. But he's got to lead, into the second half here. So we'll see what happens.
How impressed have you been with the entire offense, just suggesting and learning more systems that he brings?
They've worked really hard at it. You get on the field with them a little bit more now in the summer than you have in years past with some of the changes that they can't go against anybody and do competitive stuff, but it's still very helpful to be able to get out there and get some installation done. I felt like in the spring, kind of the last week and a half, I could just kind of see them going. They were really starting to grasp it, and they've carried that into summer. They've worked really, really hard. And again, we still got a lot of work to do in fall camp to get where we need to be, but they're in a much better spot. And the big challenge to them was, I don't want to go out there today and have to waste time on operational stuff that you just kind of, it's part of it because it's something new and you got to get through it because it's new language, it's a lot of that, and we're beyond that. So now we can really, I think, take another step into really focusing on what we need to do to have the type of execution and precision in what we need to do. Football punishes you for mistakes, but it rewards precision. And we've got to really, we got some work to do on that this fall camp. But they've done a good job in all areas of the film study, meetings on their own, us being on the field with them. They're over here on the weekends. I mean, they've done and demonstrated that they care.
Coach, you're right side of the offensive line. You've got Sadler coming back, but you've got Eason, Ronan, you have Tucker, a lot of reps with one. Just kind of, how do you see that competition as it goes into camp here?
Yeah, I think that's a position. There's probably 4 guys that coming into camp that have probably kind of separated themselves, and then there's another 5 or 6 guys that are battling, and we're gonna, our job is who's the best 5. And who's the best 7, who's the best 8. And a guy like Sadler, for example, gives you flexibility. Because if the next best guy's a guard, then he can play tackle. If the next best guy is tackle, then he can play guard. So he gives you some flexibility to get the best 5 on the field. And so does Elijah Thurman. We got a couple of guys, Harris, but you know, I think Matt's done an awesome job. I think, you know, on paper it's a talented group, but there's going to be a ton of competition at that position. There's going to be a ton of competition, and I'm excited to see it because it's going to make us better.
Judging from some of the videos that I've seen, the players have loved Dennis Love. What have you seen out of him now that he's kind of put his fingerprints on everything and had him out running the night, 6 a.m. in the morning and stuff like that? What have you seen out of Dennis?
Well, he's done an awesome job, and again, there's a reason why the NFL tried to hire him. You know, I mean, 32 of those jobs, so you know, we're fortunate to have him. Players love him, they respect him. Former players from all over will come back here to train with D-Love. So he's incredibly knowledgeable. He's tough. He's no nonsense, and I love you know, the job that he's done to this point. And so the whole staff, he'd be the first one to tell you. I mean, the whole staff, I think, is bought into the way he wants to do things. These players love him, and you know, they spend more time with him than anybody. You know, your street coaches, and so I'd say you get one first summer, and I think he's and obviously we're going to be judged by what happens on the scoreboard, but I think he did a great job of setting the tone for his first summer of how he wants it to look like in that weight room. So I'm proud of him.
Coach Juju came in last year, had the injury. D-Love told me that he's put in some really good work in the weight room. Do you remember what he weighed in?
I do. He was so fired up. I mean, he's out there flexing, and you know, but you know, he ain't ready to win no Atlas magazine contest. But he's a. Is that a magazine? I don't even know if that's really accurate. Is that a muscle magazine? I don't know. Maybe it's a moving company.
Asking the wrong person.
But anyway, asking the wrong person. I mean, he's progressing. He's what you love about. He's the most confident he's been because he's the biggest and the strongest that he's been. But he's still got a ways to go. But he's got 4 years, and if he'll hang in there, now he ain't ever gonna be 190. He's just not. But like, I mean, he's a highly skilled kid, and he can really run, and he's explosive, and all of these natural attributes that he has will, as he continues to develop physically, they'll just get amplified. And so I'm just proud of him because he's so proud of himself, because he's, you know, again, like, I mean, he's got a long way to go, but from where he was to where he is, he's progressing. So he's just got to stay the course. And you know, he'll probably flash somewhere this year, this and that, but he's just one of those guys that if he hangs in there, you're gonna look up 3 or 4 years from now, and again, like, whoa, he might only be 173, but he'll be a stud.
Coach, you have a decorated resume when it comes to coaching true freshmen. From your perch as head coach, what does that look like as far as an integration process goes in fall camp? And when do you know, as a coach and a coaching staff, when a true freshman could be ready to contribute this year?
It's like picking an apple, you know, when it's right? I mean, just when it's ready, you know. I mean, some guys are just ready. It doesn't take long to see it. Some guys physically look the part, but then you start coaching them, and mentally they're just a ways away. You know, I mean, and that's the good thing about this 5-year rule, because you don't have to try to pick, you know, balance stuff, you know, because maybe a kid's not going to be ready early, but maybe by November he's going to be ready. And that's why it's important that you really are efficient and utilize your staff the right way, so that you can, even though guys aren't getting a lot of reps on game day, they're progressing. All right, and so that's important, that you manage things that way. But you know, you just gotta know when you know. I mean, like I said, it's sometimes you have an inkling in the summers if a guy wasn't here in the spring, because you hear the team talking, and then you get out there and now you start loading him up with scheme, and now he fades. Sometimes you get out there like Blake Miller. Blake Miller didn't come here until the summer. And I remember when he came in here, Walker Parks called me, and he's like, "Coach, you know, y'all know how Walker Parks is, because he was our starting right tackle. You can move me to guard. We're gonna need this guy." You know, this is just first summer. The guy just got here. And I'm like, yeah, all right, we'll see. Well, I mean, he started every game of his career. Missed 2 practices, first round draft pick. And so, and then again, sometimes you see it early when a guy comes in the spring. Like I knew Sammy Brown. Sammy Brown was not great that first spring. He wasn't, but you could see the attributes, and if he would do the work I think if he had come in the summer, it would have taken him a little longer. But if he'll do the work, and you know a guy like Sammy's going to do it in May, June, and July, you just knew he was going to take it done, and he did. He did a heck of a job, you know. And he had 2 great guys in front of him, in Woodaz and Barrett. Barrett started as a rookie for the Bengals, and Woodaz is a 4th round pick and going to have a great career in the NFL. So he had some good example guys in front of him, but you know, you just knew. All right, here's where you are right now, and then sometimes you get a guy in the spring, and you go like Wesco showed up, and you're like, whoa, all right, he's ready to play. We just got to get him. We got to get him with Megan. We got to get him with the nutrition. You know, we got to grow a butt a little bit, you know, between now and August. But this guy's ready to play, mentally, all that type of stuff. So it's just you just kind of know. You know when you know it, when you see it.
Is there any plan to move Polo around early in his career, or you guys strictly see him as a safety?
Yeah, we'll see where he's at, you know, in fall camp. I mean, he's a safety, but he's the guy I think is dynamic. I think he's a guy that somewhere throughout his career, if he develops like we think, you'll be able to do some cool stuff with him. But right now, we just gotta get him to learn, make sure he's in a good spot. You don't want to overwhelm him. You want to get him ready to go play and play fast, and not hesitant. But we'll go as he goes. But you know, again, if he develops like we think he can in time, he'll be one of those guys that can do a lot because he can run and he can change direction. He's long, he's strong. So yeah, he could do situationally a lot of different stuff. You know, he can play in the box, he can play on the back end. There's a bunch of stuff he can do. He can pressure, he can cover. So, but you know, he's just got to start somewhere.
Dabo, I think you said a few weeks ago this team needs to be mentally tougher. Can you elaborate on what that looks like in your eyes this year compared to last year?
Yeah, when you lose close games, we lose 3 games by 11 points. You know, we lose 2 on the last play of the game. Again, we've won a bunch of those games too. I mean, we lead the nation in 1-score wins in the last 15 years. So we won a bunch, but didn't go our way last year for that team. And that's my job to make sure that, you know, when it's at its toughest, we're at our best. And so, you know, I like how we've done some things. And it's one of the reasons we ran those hills, you know. And it was awesome to watch them because they weren't very good at the beginning of the summer. None of y'all would be either. I mean, it's fatigue will coward you, right? But by the end of the summer, man, and it didn't get easier. And they were in great shape at the beginning of the summer. It didn't get easier. They just learned how to handle the hard better. And it's the same thing in life. You know, you got to kind of go through some things. Life don't get easier either. But we grow stronger from struggle. If you don't quit, if you keep going, you just learn how to handle hard things better that come at you in life. Football's no different, and I've seen that in them. Now we got to go take it to the field, but you know we've got to be better in that area. You know, because again, it's not like you're getting run off the field. You know, you're tight games, and when you win those games, it's confidence and momentum, and there's a lot of things that come with that. So we've worked hard on that part of it, and you know we'll see how it shows up on game day.
Yeah, Colorado poor goalie.
So yeah.
Last year you leaned into the phrase "win the one." Is there
Yep.
something that you guys are leaning into in this preseason that is a similar phrase?
Yeah, I mean that's always the case here for us. It's just you know, just this one meeting, this one day, this one rep, this one quarter, this one half. You know, this is the one game. That's I think how you don't get overwhelmed by the totality of what all is coming. You know, let's just be great right here where our feet are. But the biggest thing for us is just truly living out our standard, and of best is the standard. Everybody being their best, all right? Just everybody. This, got to get everybody all in and committed to being their best, doing their best, sleeping their best, eating their best, thinking their best, meeting their best, preparing their best. All right, everything, and that's how you become your best. And when you get a group of people that are really, truly, collectively committed and all in to being, doing, thinking their best, day in and day out, well, maybe you could be the best, but you got no chance to be the best at anything until you learn how to be your best, and not sit around and compare yourself to other people. Like, here's what God gave me. How do I become the best version of myself? How do I do it? Well, I got to believe in myself. I got to believe in a great future. I got to believe that I can, even though other people say I can't. I got to believe I can, even though circumstances in my life maybe tell me I can't. You got to believe anyway. You got to believe. All right. As a man thinketh, so is he. And then you got to how do you activate the belief? Effort. Do the work. Do the work. All right. And if you're going to be your best, you got to sacrifice. There's just certain things you got to give up to become the best version of you. And that sacrifice looks different for everybody. Maybe it's you want a better diet. If you want to lose some weight, have a better diet. Sacrifice. All right. If you're going to be elite and best as an athlete, you're going to have to sacrifice maybe playing the game and staying up all night. Get some sleep. Maybe you got to sacrifice maybe who's in your circle a little bit. I don't know. It's different for everybody. And then you got to have some toughness. You can't be the best version of you if you ain't got some toughness, because life happens. Things don't go the way we want them. Something bad happens, and that starts to create doubt in your life. All right. There's criticism. There's all these things, and then all of a sudden you have doubt. And that doubt creep in. You got to have some toughness to believe anyway. And even when nobody else does, you got to have toughness to do the work when you don't feel like it. You got to have toughness to continue to sacrifice when you ain't seeing the results. You've been doing your sacrifice and you ain't getting the result. You got to have toughness to keep going. That's the only way you can become the best version of you. And so, that's been our standard here from day one, and that's really the main thing. We just, we got to focus on being our best. Everybody's got to focus on doing their best. And when you get that, you got a chance, to do great things. And so that's really kind of where we are, just trying to win one day at a time, one rep at a time. Every play is a life of its own. So let's go to the next one.
Yeah, Colorado, Corcoran, you guys talked at all about how the potential of guys coming back for a fifth year across the country could affect your roster if at all? Or?
No. Our roster's set, so we're getting played in 30 days. Ain't nobody coming in here to save us. We got what we got. We got to get it ready.
Anyone else for Coach?
Danny Stein's not on the roster anymore. Is he stepped away from football to Vernon walk-on transfer offensive line?
I think he's a medical guy. Yeah, he's a guy that came out was a DSA guy, but not able to. He's not gonna be able to play. So I think he's gonna maybe be a student worker for us or something. Good kid.
What are you hoping to see behind at running back behind Gideon and Chris Constant?
What are
you hoping to see over the next few weeks at running back beyond just those two?
I'm hoping to see what I believe, and that is I believe we have a really, I think we got a better running back room than what people think or know. And I'm hoping to see that what I believe is accurate. And I'm gonna be the first one to know. I'm gonna be at every practice. So that's what I am hoping to see. I'm hoping to see, and honestly, again, I would say in today's world, if Jay and Jarvis had been healthy all last year, we probably don't have all 5 of these dudes. Just being honest, but they were out all year. But now they're back and they're healthy, and we've added, and Gideon is experienced now and confident, and then we got this little silent assassin in here, and CJ that don't say much, but man, he shows up. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. A lot of fun to watch that group. It's gonna be a competitive group, and I think all those guys at some point, I really do. I'm not saying this. I really believe at some point, all of those guys will make a difference for us this year at some point, you know. But got to start somewhere. We'll see how it all battles out. It's going to start with Gideon. I mean, he's really done a great job.
Coach, with these freshman receivers, what are you looking to see early in fall camp with the trifecta of Salmon, Burrows, and Sellers?
Well, what I said earlier, that they're the best that I've seen them. They weren't very good in spring. They just weren't really talented. Run fast. I mean, we hit on all those guys on all the attributes that you look for, but they're having to go with the ones, and they weren't ready to go with the ones. You know, and so you got, you know, CV out there trying to throw to guys that there was no Wesco. You know, they didn't have any examples. Like I said earlier, Sammy Brown came in here. He had Barrett and he had Woodaz. Well, Wesco was out. You know, Antonio was gone. T.J. Moore was out, and so now all of a sudden Cole was out. Tristan, you know, out. And so now all of a sudden your ones are Sellers. You know, Salmon's getting reps with the ones. Naeem's getting reps with the ones, and they don't know what they're doing, and they don't really have any good examples to model. You know, so it was a tough spring for them guys. They did good stuff. I mean, you know, I think Sellers really kind of caught on a little quicker, but they all did some good things as it progressed. So I'm excited to see, number one, that they're better than they were when I saw them last on the field, but I'm excited to see how they respond with dudes in front of them that can really give them a model, really model what it should look like. You know, when you go against Ashton, because Ashton had a field day in the spring. I mean, I almost had to take him out of practice. You know, felt sorry for those guys. But, you know, they're showing up. They don't, you know, they're just always fast and the best player. Nobody's really ever had to come up and challenge them, and they've never really had to use their hands. And now all of a sudden, they can, you know, you're not just a talented fast guy. You got to have some technique and got to be a craftsman in what you do. So I just want to see them. I want to see the work that they've done this summer, because they've done the work now. And them guys have worked. So I want to see it, and I really believe I will. So I think it's a deep group. We got a bunch of guys that can play. I haven't seen Cam Livens yet. I'm excited to see him. You know, he was a really good athlete up there in Tennessee. He got a lot of accolades, basketball player. So we'll see, you know, where he's at. But it's a really good group, top to bottom. It's more depth than we've had there in a while, and a ton of competition. Obviously, with Tristan getting cleared, and just all that did was make it better. So that'll be a fun group to watch.
Coach, you've been through a lot of first days of camp and first weeks of camp. What emotions do you have walking into the practice field this season, and how is it maybe different and similar to previous years?
Grateful. I'm just grateful. I really am. I'm grateful just to be able to do it. I don't take it for granted. I mean, it's a blessing to you know, be a part of something that so many people care about. It's a blessing to be able to do life with so many young people. I mean, it just, these last couple of days, and just being able to, you know, teach and really, you know, talk and connect on things with our team, and just see how they, you know, every team's different. It's kind of like your children, right? Every team is different, and yeah, it just never gets old. I mean, Kath and I were talking about the other day. I really can't even process it, because I guess I had 13. This is my 37th camp in some form or fashion. Should be my third. I missed 2 because I was out of coaching in 01 and 02, so I missed 2 seasons. I mean, I love it. I love all of it, and this is what I really love. Like this is. I mean, y'all love all of it, and every job has good and bad. Y'all got bad stuff in your job too, but like this is what it's about. You know, the grind, getting on the field, just the competitiveness of it. You know, figuring it out, starting over, knowing that you're fixing to get judged by millions of people based on what happens on the scoreboard. I love all of that. Always have. You know, I love the competition. I love team. Everything great in my life has come through team. Everything. You know, I don't think greatness happens on your own. I mean, we all need a team. We all need people around us. It starts with my wife. You know, I mean, everything that's happened for me, you give her probably 80% of the credit. So got a great team at home. Got a great team here. I love our staff. I love how things have gelled. Really like the vibe of these guys, and so I just love it. I love starting. I like camp. I really like camp. That may sound crazy, but I like camp because we don't have any clocks. We don't have to worry about anything. Like if I'm gonna start a period over, we're gonna start it over. You know, and you get into school and you get rules and you got 20 hours and you can't rep everybody. You can only rep 2 groups. You get all that stuff, and you gotta get ready to play. So I just love this time where it's all ball. It never gets old again. Just walking out on the field, it's like Christmas, you know, for all of us that love this. I mean, you can't do this, you know, and not love it. And I love it. I love all of it. Can't wait. Just grateful. Grateful for another season. You're 18. You're 18. So that's just, it's hard for me to even process that, but you know, time flies when you do what you love to do. You know, you don't really count days. You know, it's just don't even look at your watch. I mean, you just love what you do, and especially when you love where you do it and who you do it with. And that's I love where I am. I love who I do things with. Can't wait to get started today.
Anybody else? All right. Thanks,
Thanks, Coach.
See y'all out there.